actually determines a close liaison between academia and industry, because industry is perplexed. On one hand, they are losing their businesses, and on the other hand, there is a danger of COVID, which is not only a pandemic, but it has become a horror across the world. And in this situation, I think the right way that academia and industry together find out the solution. Definitely, they cannot eliminate corona, but they can design their strategies, rather, they can make their strategies together so that they can not only find the new avenues, but they can solve their problems. And I believe regarding this, uh, a collaborated effort is needed. As I said, that the topic is very relevant, and I am personally very thankful to all of you for attending this webinar. And I believe that from the experience of Dr. Yusliza, we all will learn. With this, I'm thankful again, and I hand it over to Dr. Yusliza for sharing your experiences. Please. Dr. Atif, make a request to Dr. Yusliza.
Dr. Yusla, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. So now it's turn to me for to do the presentation, or do you want to make the presentation first, Dr. Atif?
Okay. Ma'am, we'll start with the first discussion point. And
Okay.
the first discussion point of today's webinar is that what is the future of workforce in this COVID-19 era? And what are going to be our different roles as employees, as workers in this new era?
Okay, Dr. Atif. So can I share my slide first?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. So
I have
now,
started presenting. Now you can share your slides.
okay, let me share my slide. Just wait for a while.
Yes.
Present. Just wait for a while, okay. 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 So I can find my slide. Okay. Can you say? Can you see my slide right now?
Yes, ma'am. They are
Okay.
appearing.
All right. Okay. So can I start the presentation?
Yes, you can start, but somehow your slides are not visible to everyone.
It is now.
Is all okay? The view?
Okay.
I can
All right.
see.
All right. So thank you, Prof. Dean, Professor Amir, and also Dr. Atif. Ladies and gentlemen, so now in Malaysia, 5 p.m. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good
Walekum.
evening. Good evening and Sham Bakhai.
Good.
Okay. It is an honor for me to join all of you at this Sabis webinar. So hopefully I pronounce it very correctly. Is it Sabis, your faculty? Okay. So first and foremost, let me express my sincere and heartfelt gratitude and thanks to the organizing committee of this webinar. My most precious thank you goes to all the listeners and observers who are coming online from different parts of the cities in Islamabad, Pakistan, maybe around the world that you invite open the webinar to all to listen to this webinar. Okay. So today is actually marks a significant day for Sabis and me. I would like to extend my sincerest congratulations to Sabis for conveying this webinar and for asking me to speak on a topic given to me that is close to your heart and also close to my heart. So I will try my best to share whatever I've read, finding the materials is only limit to this presentation slide. Okay, the topic given to me is on the emerging paradigm for workforce during COVID-19, challenges and opportunities, and the role of academia. For me, this is such a big, huge topic, but I will try my best to scope it uh, very narrow, and maybe you can find it in a very wide scope. Okay, as an introduction, this is a basic background about me. Okay, you can call me Dr. Yusliza. I'm just certified as professional coach. You can search my Scopus profile in Scopus as well as from Web of Science as Index 9. So I am sure professor in front of me, doctor in front of me is much more higher as index as compared on me. I'm still a learning process and learning curve. Okay, just to share a very little knowledge that I have in this area. So my area of interest is human resource management. So now moving to green human resource management and focusing at the employee green behavior. Moving on, when look at the topic given to me, let me define one by one by the term given in the topic. The COVID-19 okay, is a global pandemic that has driven nearly every country around the world into some form of quarantine and economic shutdown for the duration of the crisis. Okay, as you can see from World Health Organization website, the global COVID-19 pandemic has been tragic with its loss of life, not including Malaysia, maybe Pakistan and all over the world, disruption of daily routines, a resurgence of xenophobia, stress on the medical system, job losses, and harm to the economy. Overnight, life was interrupted worldwide, including us as individual workers, forcing instantaneous shift in how we exist. So if there's ever a time that says, okay, bad news sell, this is it, okay, because of this pandemic. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, let's define a bit what it means by workforce. The workforce, or maybe you can call it the labor force, is the labor pool either in employment or unemployed. It is generally used to describe this working for a single country or single company or industry, but can also apply to a geographic region like a city, state, or any country. For example, when I do search in the Google Scholar, the most hit appear in the Google Scholar is healthcare workforce, and then followed by hospitality workforce. And then other than that, it's appear hit essential services workforce, agriculture workforce, education workforce, resident, aging workforce, and etc. That's what it means by workforce. So now, what is paradigm? Okay, because the topic is always having paradigm topic. So paradigm means the word paradigm is often used to refer to any normal way of completing a task or performing some type of operation. For your information, the root of the term stretch back to the ancient Greek word paradigma. In Malaysia, also we call paradigma, meaning a model or a pattern that we need to follow. Okay, so in this former usage, a paradigm was meant to describe something physical rather than something philosophical. So what happens now physically or primarily cognitive in nature. Okay, that's the meaning of paradigm. So when we marry together the three words given in the title just now, so now we come to the main topic of the discussion for today, emerging paradigm for workforce during COVID-19. What is that mean? So now COVID-19 reinforced that some jobs can be done from home, okay, and that people can meet online, like we have today, adopting video conferencing technology. Okay, I'm sure all of you have practiced this using this kind of technology while closing offices and doing business online. Okay, which more cost effectively and safely than traveling to other parts of the country of work. Okay, so knowing that it is likely, we we try to do telecommuting for all um, of part of the work week will continue for safety, okay, convenience, and of course for your financial savings. The increasing interface of work and technology that we are facing right now will inevitably include automation. Okay, as organizations seek options that would let them remain productive. Okay, even though you are quarantined at home, but you need to be productive to give KPI for your organization when the next pandemic strikes. So next one, what are the challenges of the COVID-19? Okay, let's very the other methods company are adopting to deal with the economic fallout, including you are facing pay cuts. I'm not sure about Islamabad campus, whether you are pay cuts or not, but in our university, no pay cuts. Okay, unpaid leave, okay, full loss, and other attempts to manage cash flows. During the trying times, it is unfortunate that employees often get the short end of the stick, which is payroll is the first thing finance manager look to cut. Everything you need to cut budget because of the no budget, of course. All right. So now, understandably, this affect employees' emotion and well-being. Yeah, I'm also affected, not badly affected. I'm sure majority of you are also badly affected. And it also, aside from the constant bombardment of bad news, okay, a reduction in income. Okay, sorry to say that for those who are having a pay cut, um, can play havoc with anyone mental health. Okay, of course you are feeling very stressed. So it almost about a year already with this pandemic COVID-19. Normally, prevalent questions that are often asked in these uncertain times include, am I able to keep my job? So you need to feel blessed if you are in the current position now. Okay, we cannot imagine what happened to those who are fired by the organization. The next question could be, can I still maintain my housing or car loan, or maybe you have your personal loan? Okay, maybe how do I continue to pay for my kids' education? Kindergarten. Okay, even though you're not sending your kids, maybe you need to pay maybe half of the fees, maybe one quarter from the fees. Okay, that's also happened in Malaysia. So now, how companies are responding? Okay, so the first thing first, remote. You have to treat that remote work is the norm. Okay, organization now encourage or require employees to work from home regardless of whether or not they show coronavirus related symptoms. Whether you are sick, you are healthy, you need to stay home. Okay. Secondly, flexibility on benefits, what it means by number two. Some organizations require employees to first use sick leave. Okay, first, it is majority that based on my reading, better you use your sick leave first, then followed by vacation leave, and then other type of paid off, and empower leaders to extend beyond central policies. And finally, maybe the third one that I can share with you, the element of trust. Okay, companies do not track the work completed by the employees from home, right? because organizations have a mutual trust level by taking into account the output and quality of their work when they have to work from home. Anywhere, anytime, where are you from, no matter what happens with you, the most important thing is your output. Okay. So now, when looking at the title again, how I can relate this and then to share with you. So, what are the benefits work from home? Okay. In the discourse of work from home, a variety of potential benefits and also challenges. You need to remember that for employees, ourselves, okay, employers, and also the government have been raised. Okay, if we can see from the workforce perspective or employee, employees see a number of benefits as a result of greater flexibility in managing their working hours. Okay, they can manage very well when they are working from home, improve work quality balance. Okay, saving time and transportation costs due to reduced commutes, increased autonomy, and in many cases, a quieter working environment. So you need to ask yourself, is it you working from home is a quiet environment? So like me right now, kids coming from school, I'm also tell my kids, keep quiet, I have class right now. Okay, so that's based on the reading. Okay, with a fewer workers in the office, so in for the benefit of organization, um, employers will be able to reduce expenditure of energy because why energy transferred to the house, okay, because you are working at home, okay, on energy, water, break room supplies, and other consumable products, and as well as from benefit from work from home to the organization is you can expand the pool of prospective employees and anti-stop candidates. Okay, if I can share the challenges work from home to the organization, okay, employers might be apprehensive about employee supervision and productivity level because you are stay away from the organization and also from your subordinate. That one is your challenges. Okay, employers, okay, that's from the perspective of employers. On the employee side, which is workforce side, it may be difficult to maintain collaboration and to get involved in the new project. Okay, why the reason being is because you are working very far. I have also student from Pakistan. I message, I have with my understanding, and then the student cannot understand. So that's the challenges when we want to collaborate in this kind of situation. So maybe later, Imran is my student. He said, this is the time, the best time that we can do discussion. Okay. So rather than using WhatsApp to further the discussion. Okay. Employees may also have fewer mentoring opportunities and less convenient access to training because of technology. Maybe my line is not so clear, and then mentoring is difficult when we live very far. The cost of, besides that, the cost of missing out on social interaction among colleagues must also be considered. Okay. In addition to that, it requires employees to set firm boundaries in order not to find themselves constantly working, give the blurred line between home and office. So WhatsApp also always coming in, so that makes us stress when receive the instruction. Okay, that the challenges. Okay, what are the lessons learned on the remote work? Okay, the employer or as a boss, you need to provide direction, confidence, and resilience. What does it mean? It means employees, actually, employees rely on you as a leader at all levels, no matter what. You are leaders from middle management or top higher management of the business to take action and set the tone. You need to give clear direction. Okay, in communication from other business leaders to managers, you need to prioritize, okay, employee health and business sustainability. Okay, business is business, profit is profit. So how you need to maintain all this kind of activities in this pandemic situation. You need to communicate regularly and candidly with employee. Okay, so that employee become motivated in doing their job. Secondly, as a manager, you need to contextualize coronavirus for the organization. How? Okay, make leaders a trusted sources. Okay, leaders, you need to deliver right information to the employees for accurate and up-to-date information on coronavirus and how it impacting the organization. Okay, for your information that I would like to share, last week we are closed about 1 week. Okay, because of this pandemic, one case, maybe just a precaution, UMT closed for 1 week last week. Okay, so try as a leader, you need to avoid some kind of sharing information from social media. Okay, instead leverage trusted resources such as from World Health Organization or in your country, maybe you have Ministry of Finance. Okay, sorry, Ministry of Health. All right. Um, that one is valid information to be shared to the employees. You need to contextualize the information, how the information related to your organization. You cannot share all the information and data as much as possible so that it specifically relates to your organization. If you talk about information, there are so many information in the world that you can share. But again, people are overwhelming with the overloaded of the information. Number three, you need to encourage intentional peer-to-peer interaction. What it does mean? So it means you need to urge your employees to maintain regular professional and personal interaction with their peers, even if those check-in are virtual. Okay, even though you are virtual, you need to make it formally and with lots of hierarchy and procedure that we need to follow. Encourage employee to leverage communication. Okay, encourage them to communicate. Okay, platform they already use. So today we communicate through Google Meet. Maybe sometime UMT I'm always use Webex. Sometimes Zoom with the outsiders. Okay, either at work or in their personal life to create new ways to work together. Okay. So the next one, what established team guideline means? It means remote. When you work remote from home, it looks different for each employee. Okay, depending on their needs and those of their family. Okay, so maybe during my class with my student, I'm not properly make up or dress formally. Okay, so because this one is such a big event for me, so I need to dress. I'm wearing UMT clothes for the image of the university. So with unprecedented school closure, okay, I'm sure Pakistan now open for school. Many employees must take on a double role, okay, as they support their children and families, okay, throughout the workday. Okay, organization can meet employees' need by empowering teams to adapt to their conflicting time demands. For instance, teams can set core team times. Okay, let's say once a week you need to hang out, you need to socialize, okay, with the team, where all team members are available to collaborate, even for a simple thing, let's say to finish one journal paper. Okay. Lastly, is try to provide flexibility for employees' remote work needs. It means when preparing for the eventual return of employee to the office, okay, we are now UMT are coming back to the work, okay, empower employees. Empower must come with trust. that I've also mentioned in the previous slide to make choices best suit for their needs and comfort level. Even now, even though all employees at UMT often go to the campus, but they are given option for those who cannot attend on site. So they can still work from home, provided you write later to the registrar through the dean in order to get approval. Where possible, allow employees to decide when to return. So you can, as long as, for me, as long as your employee is productive and can produce whatever KPI, go ahead wherever you are. Even now, I'm at home since morning because preparing the slide and then final touch up. In fact, I'm shut down with all the job that I need to complete today. Just focus for this webinar. Okay. Enable essential employees whose work require them to return to the office to choose the hours that work best for them. Okay, even though UMT already closed at 5 o'clock, so I'm still working at 5 o'clock online with Pakistan community. All right. To proceed further, okay, what are the best methods to boost employee morale and happiness level while working from home? So I can share with you some of the information that I get. Frequent breaks. When you are working at home, okay, you need to frequent break. How? Okay, those working from home can find themselves, okay, trapped in a spiral with messages and emails coming constantly through WhatsApp, email, phone calls, and etc. Feeling the compelling need to address them promptly. So today, I have so many emails coming in, WhatsApp coming in, so I know how to prioritize. Okay. So these have led to employees constantly in a rush to finish their meals and get back to work. Okay. I need to finish my meal afterwards. Okay, cook for the family. If I have no time, I take food and then from outside and then bring back to home. Okay. Some even sacrifice personal time or even rest to get work done. Okay. So while this happen in an office setting too, okay, you also having break time at 10 a.m. in the morning, lunch hour, tea break. Same thing happen if you are working from home. Okay, it is more it is actually more stressful when it happens at home. Okay, you need to take care. Um, it's actually tired as a housewife or house husband that we can call if you are working at home. Okay. Breaks have been scientifically proven to enhance focus. Sometimes during lunch hour break, I need to give a nap about half an hour because I need to come focus again, okay, to start after Asar prayer and then until 11 o'clock at night. As compared is I work full time from 8 to 5 o'clock. Okay, at night I feel so tired, and then in fact, not so many can be utilized if I work straight away from 9 to 5. So might as well I need to take a nap during lunch hour. Okay, and with the focus and the sharpness and motivation while at work. Okay, so I can do it depends on your ability. You know your mind, you know how to control your mind. Where is your strength during maybe asa prayer, maybe before subuh prayer, and etc. Those working from home often don't realize how often they take short break and when working in the office. You can compare, try to imagine. You can compare between you work at in the office and work at home. Okay. Whether it's quick conversation with co-workers, clocking out for lunch, or maybe you not clock out, okay, at UMT, only clock in the morning once in a day, okay, or a short trip to the water cooler or rehydrate, okay. Taking a few moments away from the screen can do wonders to an employee's morale. So I'm happy also I'm get adaptation working from home. Washroom is so near to my room. Water cooler is also near to my room, so I can get access to the kitchen, so I can save energy. No need to iron my uniform every day. Okay, this should be a practice at home too. Okay, simply try walking around the home. Take some time to rehydrate and stretching. Okay, um, spend some time away from the screen regularly, and you will see the difference. So don't just focus to your laptop. Try to stretching. If you like gardening, try to talk with your flowers because they they understand, but they not tell you that what they understand what you are talking. If you have cats, you can talk to your cat because that one is like therapy. Okay, Imran, I have 5 cats in my house. Okay. So next one, use video calls more. Prolonged remote working can result in workers feeling isolated and lonely. It's actually stress for those who are having this kind of personality in socializing, okay, networking, like to be with people. They are feeling stressed at home, especially if they live alone. Okay, no parents, no husband, or no housewife, or no kid. The stress much more higher as compared to who are having family. Yeah, it depends lah. So it depends on the case by case basis. During the quarantine time, okay, period with many undergoing, so you are facing social distancing. So now we are calling physical distancing to help curb the outbreak. However, okay, with the WhatsApp technology, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Hangout are some of the many communication platforms that you can utilize. Also offer video conferencing options. Okay, when you want to talk to your colleague and your friends. Although at first employees may find it awkward, okay, first few months during quarantine time is a bit awkward to use this kind of technology, and it does not quite replicate the experience of a face-to-face interaction. Yes, of course, face-to-face is the best method that we can have, and as compared to the online. It is still managed and feel more personal when you are able to see the person you are talking to because you can see the body language, the eye contact, the non-verbal communication. Whether it is work related, maybe you just chit chatting, or just a quick catch up among your work friends. Okay. How much time that I have? Okay. So video calls will certainly help boost employee well-being and happiness. Okay, employees should certainly encourage the use of video calls. Okay, maybe try at the minimum once a month. Okay, or the best maybe you can do it once a week. Okay, employers could certainly encourage the use of video calls. Try to schedule them regularly to keep social isolation problem in check. Okay, because you don't know what happened with your employees when they are staying at home. Games and activities, or what we can call virtual team building. How? So it's amazing how you do virtual team building through online. Okay, that's very unique. Although working from home allows for greater flexibility and efficiency, employees who are working from home undergo a lack of emotional connection that they normally would when they are in office environment. So when you are walking to the meeting room, you can say hi, goodbye to your colleague. You when you walk out from your office, go to washroom, you can meet your friend, even just say hi only. It's also good to also know that virtual work team that do not have the right practices in place tend to lack a strong bonding, can leave employees feeling undervalued, even though in a one word only, by your dean, by your boss. Say hi, how are you today? Okay, happy birthday. Even 2 words in a day, it gave a lot of meaning to you. Okay, it can hamper productivity and make it difficult for team members to contribute effectively. Okay. So as a HR managers or HR person that working in HR department in any organization and team leaders should certainly consider organizing. You should know how to organize virtual team building session. You should try this. Okay. This would involve playing a variety of games and activities. They are meant to encourage human interaction and have fun with colleagues. Okay, for example, you can use virtual Netflix party session to online quiz and karaoke session. Okay, team building not only improve team effectiveness but also bring laughter and comic relief. When you laugh, it's actually also therapy. Okay, and to the online workplace, which undoubtedly raises employee happiness. The important thing is the keyword to have to the leaders especially and to the employees is happiness. Exercise. Even though you are working from home, one of the biggest drawbacks to working from home is exercise. You can see the difference. Even me, since March or April, working from home, you can see the difference of me. I'm increasing my weight, 5 kilo up to 10 kilo. So now what we did, we realized that we are taking for granted, even though you have a treadmill in your room, but you are take for granted by not exercise. So now what we are practicing now, we are practicing intermittent fasting, 16 hours fasting. Okay, only eat between 12 noon until 8 o'clock at night. So because exercise, we cannot have discipline. Workers tend to remain stationary. You know the how crazy I am during my work. So you can ask my students. So I'm always with my laptop. I cannot sleep. I cannot. If one day I do not touch my laptop, I feel demotivated. So I feel remain stationary, sitting on my chair for prolonged periods because I like to work consistently. So very hard for me to stop. So that I ignore the need to stretch and exercise. That's why I become 10 kilo increase from my ideal weight. Okay, those working from home with busy workloads tend to sit as long as hours until their work is done, and it is certainly unhealthy. That's my precautions as well. So when I cook at home, my family eats much as compared to what we buy. Yes, it's of course is not unhealthy if you buy food from outside, but you need to take care of pro and cons when you are when I cook for my family, my kids, my husband eating so much because maybe I'm a good cooker. Uh, so sorry to share with this. Exercise should be certainly be encouraged as remaining stationary to prolonged period can take serious because after eating lunch and then I go to nap about half an hour. So that's why increasing weight. Okay. And then prolonged time sitting on the chair because I like to work. It can take a serious toll and employee health. So as well as helping employees distress, exercise help the release of endorphin in the brain, which in turn help relax the muscle and relieve tension in the body. So this one, the last method that I would like to share is coaching and mentoring. So during this pandemic time, for information, we have program counseling in our faculty. About half, 40 students from the counseling program get offered working with the Ministry of Health as a contract counselor because you are stressing line, so they are get offered by the Ministry of Health to work as a counselor. So how coach and mentoring helps your employees? So let me share with you the big picture. Okay, of course, some of you know the difference between mentor and coach. So you can see the big picture here. So the evolution is here on your left. Okay, is towards directive style, and then so in your right is towards enabling. So it's from the trainer, mentor, facilitate, and the best enable tools is as a coach. Okay. So as a coach, you should know the meaning between the two. Coaching, to me, that I practice that can help many of the stressful students and also staff here at UMT is the transformative process for personal and professional awareness. You need to aware and discovery and growth. So that's why coaching is the best tool to be practiced in the pandemic time. Awareness, I can give you example. You are living in the COVID-19. So you're aware. So no doubt you cannot blame God. You need to aware this is your situation. After you aware, and then you need to discover yourself, what should I do? What's next? What will be the next step? What are other things that I not doing yet? So you need to discover yourself. So you cannot stress all the time. You have to move, and then after that you need to grow. So while um, mentoring is who have experienced person to give advice and guide employees long-term career development. So whereas for coaching is the process oriented to achieve certain goal. Mentoring is your content expert or who have having experience to give advice and guiding your employees. So this is the difference between coaching and mentoring. At the end of the day, so of course, employee happiness is the aim of the organization, and it's very important for the business today, and is positively related to the productivity and better retention levels. It's vital that business consider the personal well-being. Okay, here not only financial, there are many aspects of well-being that you can see in the slide. So for each and every employee in to sail through the current quarantine phase and come out stronger. Okay, then here the challenges to the organization. Um, in comparison, in 2008, if you exist in 2008, 2008 is the global financial crisis. You can see the difference with the COVID-19 pandemic is associated with several new challenges. Given the major economic activities has been affected. The extent of COVID-19 spread across the world has heightened uncertainty regarding consumption and investment among different stakeholders. For example, consumers, trade partners, suppliers, and also investors. That the challenges to the organization. Besides, increasing the length of lockdown and travel restriction. So I feel a bit stressed as well because I cannot travel to Indonesia. I cannot travel to Pakistan, and no, that I need to be aware right now. So my Hajj, I need to actually my turn to perform Hajj this year, but because of the pandemic postponed to next year. So because the traveling national or internationally are severe affecting the general economy. The COVID-19 crisis is generating spillover effect throughout global and regional supply chains, disrupting demands and supply. Okay. In addition to that, social distancing policies have almost destroyed service industries like travel and tourism and hospitality, which could trigger a recession. But in Malaysia, when you travel by airlines, they not practice social distancing in sitting in the airline. So that's in the airplane lah, because I'm not sure the policies of the in the airplane. In terms of opportunities, the severe global challenges posed by the COVID-19 can be tackled using a range of digital technologies. This one is not my area. I don't know exactly in depth about this thing. So IoT, AI, big data analytics, and the use of drones. Okay, during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, now in the title, you given to me the challenges and opportunity for the students and also the role of academia. So here today, I would like to share from my reading very good article that I find. Here is you can see at the bottom of the slide, and also I will provide you the references at the end of the slide. So what are the roles of academia in skill development of students for emerging roles? Okay, we academia not only development for students, maybe to our colleagues as well. Okay, this research is coming from Verma and Gustafsson. Okay, on the like systematic literature review, try to examine the impact of COVID-19 on different facets of businesses. Since we are coming from business school, management school, and also from the economics and social development, so they are investigate through bibliometric analysis. Okay, and identified four major themes. So this is their figure that they can share. This is very attractive, including how the COVID-19 impact the overall business as a whole, technology, supply chain management, and service industry, as well as they also discover 18 sub-themes as shown in the slide. So this one is good opportunity to the researcher, to the faculty member, and to the students what you need to take in for your research topic. Okay. So I will share with you the impact on COVID-19 on business. So like Professor Dean mentioned just now, so how it impact on business. Okay, that's a very timely. So the Dean can read my mind how the COVID-19 can affect business. Um, the COVID-19 pandemic has also had dramatic, okay, rippling effect across global economic activities in every region, every part of the world. So, in order to flatten the curve of infection rates, several countries across the world have imposed widespread restrictions, such as lockdowns, quarantine, and closure physical shops and businesses to protect the functioning of healthcare system. Because the first line, the essential service, nurse is very tiring. But they are served to the country. They need to do their job. I went to the airport about 2 times after March. Some shops are closed. Okay, in the airport. So like and in fact when I went to the big mall at KLCC when I want to try to buy one makeup, so one of the company closed, um, that I cannot buy the product that I always use for my um, makeup thing lah. Okay. The closure of the economy has also increased the closure of shops and businesses now had an immense immediate impact on the economic activity at almost every sector. For example, activities involve direct contact between consumers, okay, and service providers that have been adversely affected by restriction of movement and social distancing or physical distancing. The economy has also increased the risk associated with investment by household and businesses. Many companies are either facing bankruptcy or reducing their production capacity, which has led to higher unemployment and underemployment. That I can share with you. I want to buy cat litter. That one is coming from China that I'm always frequent use, but because of this, they stopped the production, so I cannot use the same litter scent for my cat. So that's also affected the life cycle of the cats lah. So I have to use the new brand, which is not suitable a little bit, but life must goes on. A prolonged lockdown period also increased the risk and massive increase in corporate and government debts, leading to fundamental financial imbalances. Okay, that could prolong the recovery period from the COVID-19 crisis. So here I don't want to go through in detail how the COVID-19 related on business. So how it COVID-19 also affect the value chain. Okay, meaning here is in order to solve emerging problem, firms are embracing method and process that are responsive rather than reactive to the crisis. And they are switching to new operating models focused on the customer and supported by the right government. They are quicker to decide where to invest and reallocate their resources. That's the meaning of value chain. In addition, firms are pushed to create new product or services and radically adapt to in order to remain visible, agile, and productive. COVID-19 and startup. Um, COVID-19 crisis seriously threatened the potential for innovation and discouraged new startup company and could have been viable under normal circumstances. You cannot borrow the fund. That's also affected to the new startup. Um, so next one, how COVID-19 impact the trade. According to World Trade Organization, trade in 2020 will plunge by negative 13% or negative up to 32%, according to the optimistic and pessimistic scenarios, respectively. Furthermore, the recovering in the year 2021 is uncertain and will depend on the duration of the COVID-19 pandemic and the effectiveness of policy responses. Okay, despite the closure of international borders, okay, in fact, maintaining trade flow is crucial to ensure access to essential goods like medicine and food, in addition to supporting jobs and economic activities. So this is what it impact to the trade. Okay, some service trade like IT services are booming because employers are able to work from home. So it depends on the trade that you are working with. What is the impact of COVID-19 towards employment? The COVID-19 crisis has affected around 3.3 billion employees. People across the world are able to work because they are being asked to isolate or quarantine themselves. So this one you're not talking about productivity of the organization. Okay, due to COVID-19 lockdown, business have increased layoff and working hours, reduced wages. Okay, many employees have been affected by loss of income. Okay, the sector that has been badly affected is travel and tourism, food services, retail, of course, manufacturing, and business, as well as administrative activities that are highest risk of unemployment and underemployment. Okay, this also it can affect badly to the economic. How COVID-19 related to the risk communication? During this crisis as well, understanding the people risk perception is critical for risk communication, meaning the risk perception of COVID-19 is influenced by several societal, cultural, and psychological factors, and also one's preparedness and planning. Okay, so therefore, risk communication, it means here, should be based on factors like risk attitude, risk perception, trust in communicating authorities. Okay, this is a good topic you can conduct for your research. Moving next, how COVID-19 impact on technology. This is also very interesting. I also discover new information today. During the COVID-19, big data and advanced analytics help to detect surface indicators related to the pandemic. Specifically, real-time big data-driven insight have helped policymakers and researchers to comprehend the forecast, the reach and impact of the COVID-19 outbreak. Real-time COVID-19 trackers are helping epidemiologists, scientists, health workers and policymakers, researchers like us make more informed decisions to fight the pandemic by aggregating and synthesizing incident big data. Furthermore, real-time analysis of GPS, that we have GPS, data indicating people's movement from certain locality is helping government understand the population compliance with social distancing mandate. So like in Malaysia, wherever we go, even to the restaurant, we need to scan what we call My Sejahtera. Scan QR code, and then so they can track your movement. So big data analytics are also helping that leaders to make difficult decisions. Okay, so from that locality movement tracker, you can know your customer contact history. Okay, the COVID-19 contact history, your employee information, and also business operating monitoring and social media to understand different scenario for sustainable development during and after COVID-19 pandemic. So how COVID-19 related to emerging technologies? Digital innovation, there are so many technology has been introduced to the world. It has been quickly became famous of personal and professional life. So your life become much more easier. Connected digital devices enable both remote work and education. Um, Maybe you have heard about chatbots, okay, are providing instant life-saving information, okay, and also not only chatbot, um, geolocation information system, okay, can trace where are you and where are the virus is spreading. Firms and government are designing and piloting very fast, responsive framework to implement emerging technologies like data policy, digital trade, IoT, AI, drones, autonomous vehicle, blockchain, telemedicine, and environmental innovation. This kind of term is very interesting for you to further your PhD topic. Digital healthcare, um, the public health emergency nowadays of COVID-19 confronting global healthcare system have prompted the development of digital health solutions to mitigate the impact of the pandemic. This digital healthcare system include telehealth, robust surveillance system like CCTV, technology-driven diagnostic and clinical decision-making tools, wearable tracking device to measure physiological parameters like temperature. In Malaysia, when you go to the restaurant or anywhere you have temperature that stand alone, and then you put your head near that kind of equipment. They can read your temperature, and in fact, they can trace your heart rate and your sleep duration and interactive chat services providing information about COVID-19. So now, so with this kind of information, it will create a geospatial dashboard, okay, that display pertinent information at the national and international scale to track COVID-19 statistics in real time. Infodemic, according to WHO Director General, the world is fighting not only on epidemic, but also we heard about the infodemic. What is infodemic? It means by causing an overabundance of information related to the COVID-19 situation, not all of which is accurate. So here, like Malaysia, we are enforcing for those who are viral false information, you will be sued by the government. Okay, be careful in spreading the news. Okay, for example, in the early phase of the quarantine in Malaysia, I've got information that King of Thailand died because of coronavirus. So I got shocked, and then that one is very false information, and then he's still alive. Okay, that one is not good indicator of the good information. So such uncertainty can create confusion and distrust among people. Of course, community in Thailand will frustrated when getting heard about information their king is died. Um, Ultimately hamper an effective public health response. Okay. So next one, socio-technical transition. I think this one is too much information, but this one is also interesting to share. Is related to global socio-technical crisis and several alternative features. It is globally, rapidly, and pervasively disrupting existing practices. So, how technical and also related to the transition. And these practices and is quickly emerging as catalytic and meta transition even that challenges and reshapes the legitimacy and efficiency of existing political and economic structure. Okay, so now is more about facts and it's quite heavy and also interesting information that I can share with you today. So moving next, supply chain management is also hot topic. My student also did on green supply chain management in relation to green human resource management. Okay, how is related? Um, the COVID-19 crisis continue to globally disrupt manufacturing and supply chain, of course, with severe consequences for consumers, businesses, society, and the global economy. The global production system has been badly affected due to surge in demand for essential goods, factory shutdowns, panic buying, and shift in consumer preference. Okay, companies are now modifying the supply chain by carefully managing interdependent factors like how to localize, how to complexity reduction, dual sourcing, and how investing in advanced manufacturing technologies. Okay, apart from this initiative, so for the manufacturing firms are taking measure to ensure business continuity because they are profit making and they need to achieve KPI to show to the world they are performing. This measure including, for example, cross-functional controls and coordination on a global and regional level, increase in safety stock and shift inventories, pivot freight models, improve customer support program, rebound measures for demand, returns and quick reaction to changing sources and demand in order to secure revenue streams. Because manufacturing is like profit making organization. So this is also interesting. Is badly affected because of COVID-19 and the service industry. The viral outbreak again has paralyzed the tourism industry, leading to job losses and devastating economies. They are highly dependent on tourism. The tourism and cities have strongly intervened. Economic, social, and environmental relationship that we can share, which is sustainability that have triple bottom line, which shapes localities, landscapes, and region. According to United Nations World Tourism Organization that I can share with you, this pandemic has led to a potential loss of US dollar 30 to 50 billion for the travel and tourism industry. So therefore, for those who are looking for the industry that you want to research on, it is very timely. You look in the hotel industry, travel industry, or tourism industry. It is hot topic because they are badly affected. As several countries and regions have imposed entry and exit bans and other restrictions which have decreased willingness to travel. Okay, like me lah. So this year after COVID-19, I'm waiting everything goes very clear so that I can travel to deliver keynote, invited guests, and also to do collaboration and networking. And this is my second time online with Sabis. And then thank you very much. So because of the you are trusting me on the aspect that I can share with you. Okay. So okay. How it impact education? This one, no doubt, I do not need to explain because we are in the education industry. You learn digital learning, internet facility, childcare, and consequences, how it affect the food insecurity, and etc. As of May, for your information, 2020, May 10, 2020, 1.3 billion, approximately 73.5% students across 177 countries have been affected by the closure of educational institutes. Same thing happened to my students. Students from Pakistan, Indonesia, they won't be able to come on site to do the registration. Educational institute hope to conduct class through internet. This one you are already familiar with this technology. Okay, impact of COVID-19 on essential service. The COVID-19 crisis is affecting the service sector due to either spikes and or surge in demand. For example, while the retail, okay, tourism and aviation sector have been badly affected due to the closure of services to mitigate the risk, food retailers and grocery stores are struggling with rising demand as consumers are trying to stock up for long periods of isolation. When I go to the airport, when I went to the airport before lockdown now, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, Selangor, Sabah is strictly quarantined now. So starting from tomorrow, so the four state here, they are asked to work from home. Okay, starting from tomorrow, which is don't know when and the duration. So when I went to the airport, I can see there are so many aircraft parking in the KLIA. So the cost of parking is actually high cost to the Malaysia Airline, MAB, Malaysia Airline Berhad, because it involves the rental. There are so many airlines parking in the airport. So essential service workers are working in grim and testing working environments, continuously exposed to the virus, but no choice but to work. Okay, you discover that doctors, some of the nurses die after give treatment to the patient. So therefore, essential services need to consider the direct and indirect impact of employee occupational safety and health. Okay, maybe this is towards the end of the slide, last slide that I can share with you for the researcher, because from the academia perspective, you should know what are the challenges and opportunities for you during the COVID-19. The challenges, okay, first one, it kept the researcher from physical lab spaces, delaying projects by months in some cases. From the perspective of social science, you cannot do your data collection. Of course, it delay your project. And for example, one of my students from Pakistan cannot come to Malaysia because of the Malaysia ban outsiders coming to Malaysia. So it delayed the project, and then in some cases it affect the timeline. So budget is there, but I cannot spend the budget because of these challenges of the COVID-19. Secondly, social distancing has added the cost to the research project, meaning, for example, let's say I want to travel from Terengganu to Kuala Lumpur in one car. It can occupy, I can bring my co-researcher up to 5 researcher, but because of the COVID-19, government restrict to only family members in one car. So therefore, it involves cost. So you cannot put all the researchers in one car because you are not in the same family. So of course you need to bring your own individual car, so it incur costs. Pandemic has made funding landscape of for research more unstable. Yes, of course. So by right, we supposed to know the result of the fundamental research grant at the end of September or early October. But until now, the government not announced the result yet. So because of the unstable environment. Okay, in terms of opportunities, public trust in the work of researchers has increased. For example, so Sabis trust on me, my experience I have, my expertise I have. So you still invite me to attend your webinar because of the your trust on me in whichever work that I do. So another example will be so because of COVID-19, community hunger with the information. So whatever information coming to the academic publication, newspaper, so they trust because you cannot share the untrusty things to the public. So it become increased. Second opportunity, the pandemic has brought a spirit of collaboration to research institutions. Okay, why? The analogy is with the COVID-19, you can do MOU online. Before this, very hard. So now at UMC, very easy to MOU because they are taking opportunity to do MOU online. So ceremony online. In fact, only is enough to dash signature because of the collaboration to research institutions. Okay, like with Sabis, maybe one day we can have collaboration with many aspects. COVID-19 lastly give institutions a chance to reimagine what possible moving forward. Before this, your stereotyping said you cannot work from home. So when COVID-19 happened, yes, why not? You can work from home. Even though you are disturbed by your kids and your family. So anything can happen. So move forward, and then life must goes on. You need to achieve what to be achieved to for the sake of organization profitability of the organization. Last but not least, all these synopsis, the presentation just now, research that I've shared with you by the good article from Journal of Business Research should provide a solid basis for you, for students, for academic faculty, and the rest of the world advancing research in this domain. So with that, okay, this is the references that I took in helping me to complete my slide. With that, I end my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yusliza, for a very detailed and very insightful talk about the challenges and the opportunities that COVID provided us. Your talk gave us many
Yes,
ideas, gave us many suggestions in terms of new research topics, in terms of personal development, in terms of uh, health issues that COVID can bring to us. And really, it was a wonderful talk, and especially the point uh, about the trust that you talked about in the beginning. That many of our managers and bosses, they compare the output with the number of hours spent, and and they only like look at your output if you are within the premises, and if you're not within the premises, they think people are not performing. So we will still require a lot of time so HR can understand these things. But then there were some other very good suggestions related to the video calls, more video calls, doing the exercise. And one of the opportunities, we can just see that this webinar is only possible because of the COVID-19. Otherwise, we were not oriented towards these webinars. We were more interested in seminars. And then, as most of our students are also, they've also joined, they will get many ideas related to their new research topics. And meanwhile, we already knew that you are one of the best researchers and one of the best academicians that we know, but we also got to know that you are one of the best cooks. And with this,
I,
I would like all the participants to please ask questions. And if they have any comment or any query, they can talk to Dr. Yusliza, and we can get some more insight about the topic. Yes, we have Dr. Zaib with us. Dr. Mohammed Zaib.
Okay, Dr. Atif Bilal, thank you very much. And this was really a wonderful presentation from, if I can pronounce properly, Yusliza. She talked about many things. My rather comment, question is, I just read a few days back latest Harvard Business Review, September, October, where the researchers have pointed out that this pandemic and this telecommuting would revive the scientific era break, which means more controls instituted in the organization by the organizations, making life really difficult for employees working from home. Many artificial intelligence tools and many other monitoring tools would be applied to the work systems. In our case, the way we enroll our students, the way we teach, then the way we give exams, all these things would be monitored very closely, and rather SOPs for all aspects of our job would be developed, making it really a kind of a controlled environment, a suffocating environment for the workforce to work. So my question would be: is this really true that we are going back to the scientific management era of F.W. Taylor, where controls more controls were considered to be leading to high performance, and this is coming back. So, are we heading in that direction really?
thank you, Dr. Muhammad Zeb Khan, if I can pronounce it correctly. So, does it mean work from home is much more effective as compared to on-site working? Am I correct if I put it this way? Prof. Amir.
But my worry is, yes, it's true. But my worry is, and so was the apprehensions raised in the HBR article, that more controls mean killing initiative, killing creativity, and all this stuff. So, do you think this post-pandemic era is bringing back the scientific management, making it even more difficult and suffocating environment for employees? Do you think this would be the outcome of this pandemic as well?
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Muhammad, once again. So while that I've mentioned in my slide just now is lots of challenges. If you are working from home, you are unable to get access to the unstable internet. Okay. The most important thing from working from home is support from the top management, especially by your dean, by the vice chancellor, by the deputy vice chancellor of academic, for example. So this situation of COVID-19 is actually is temporary, but how long we not too sure. So we need to adapt with this kind technology, like I mentioned in the slide just now in your in my last slide, opportunities. So in order to move forward, so actually, for example, that I mentioned just now, Before this, you are skeptical working from home. So now, because of this situation, actually you are able to work from home. But in the theory that we can relate with adjustment theory, U curve theory of adjustment. The first 3 months you are affected, badly affected. Okay, when comes to the 4 month, you are adjusted slowly. And then when come to the peak level, U curve is a U curve, a U shape. Okay, if you can imagine U shape, you become adaptation and then you get used to it. Of course, it also very minimal, not to large extent with the difficulties of in terms of mental health, technology. That is why researcher having the opportunity to get many call for paper in relation to any topic in relation to COVID-19. So that one is many papers have been written on this. And then in fact, overwhelming information that I can say, in fact, we cannot read all of the results from the study by the top researcher of the world. So slowly, you need to become, of course, again, support system by your university, a webinar training system by the e-learning department, training department, and of course, mentoring and coaching is very helpful in order to for you to reduce the mental health, the stress level. So yeah, and again, I'm also affected. In a week, I'm not go to office every day. So I just come to office because you already adapted living at home. So let's say a database you can access from home. For my planning for that particular day, I need to go to the campus, download everything, and then save in the pen drive, and then coming back and then do my work at home. Another example is for the claim that you are traveling, whatever you buy from your research grant. Before this, you need to submit hard copy. And then, in fact, very difficult to convince the bursary to have digital signature. But now, you are really comfortable with digital signature. For example, in fact, my student from Pakistan claim from Pakistan and then having digital signature, bursary coming back to me, email back, can the student write a letter to acknowledge it is truly him to make the claim? So this kind of thing. So when we familiar with the one procedure, when comes to the next procedure, you become immune. You become familiar with the process and procedure. Slowly, of it must become some of the strategies that I share with you in my slide. Support from your colleague, even just chit-chatting. That one is at least help you to release your stress. Hopefully, Dr. Muhammad, I answer your question.
Thank you, ma'am, for that.
Thank you so much, Prof. I call you Prof.
Thank
Muhammad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just thinking about when Dr. Zaid was talking about the artificial intelligence. Uh, we might end up controlling and stifling the natural intelligence and encouraging the artificial intelligence. So, with these unnecessary control systems, we may end up
yes,
stifling the creativity and innovation part. Because, as it has been
yes,
one of my
yes,
research areas, bureaucracy and these controls in today's world, for most of the organizations, they do kill creativity and innovation.
yes,
But I think all of us, most of us are lucky that we are in very good organizations. At least the liberty is there, the freedom is there. The things are not very formalized, and people do encourage creativity and innovation. So with this, I'll ask other participants to please ask any questions or give us comments.
if you may allow.
Uh,
Uh,
may I?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think
yes, sir.
Dr. Yusliza and Dr. Atif, both you are right, because this is there is blessing in disguise, and sometimes unavoidable things teach us something that we generally do not want to learn. And thanks God that because of this COVID, at least we realize what creativity needs, what innovation needs. And we have to remove the barriers of bureaucracy. I totally agree with you. But this is the requirement of the world, particularly in this pandemic situation, that we have to really trust our people. We have to remove the barricades of bureaucracy, and we have to let people give their best,
Yeah.
creative and innovative. So, as I said, that this is a blessing for us, although it's a problem, it's a disease, but this disease actually is forcing us to do something different and to realize and adopt something different, which is the requirement of the time, rather requirement of today and future. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Yes, sir. Absolutely right. So, can we have some more questions from the audience?
Yeah, if you may allow.
Yes, Dr. Atif, if I'm allowed, I would like to ask some
Yes,
questions.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, the problem is that when you don't have controls, you're basically not focusing on the output but the outcome. From an organization's perspective, how do you measure outcome accurately? Because it's a very gray area. I totally agree that there should not be very stringent rules, but you have to measure the employee's outcome at one point, right? So, in your research or in your experience, ma'am, could you enlighten some of the measures that could basically help us measure the outcome of the individual rather than the output?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Aslam. Okay, outcome and output. Okay, as for my understanding, there are different school of thought. They put outcome and output same. Okay, that's another school of thought. Outcome and output is different. But for my opinion, I'm talking about perspective of university from from perspective of my organization. So like you also in your university. So you need to have clear planning during early of the year. So for example, okay, after COVID-19, in July, we just recently come up with KPI for the individual. For example, I'm associate professor. Outcome, okay, Yusliza, you need to have 3 papers in Scopus. Okay, now, okay, I agree. I can fulfill 3 papers this year. So until today, my outcome, I have 8 papers in Scopus, which is exceed whatever target by my school. So for research grant, so my school and my dean aiming me to have 1 national grant. Yes, I can achieve that. I struggle. I try to apply as many grant as possible with my limited time, not as many lah, with the time allowed. So I got national grant. So that's my outcome. I've been asked to look for industry grant, which is consultancy. So mindset is very clear. So just given to me last month. Okay, Yusliza, please find consultancy project which only worth 3,500 Malaysia. Oh, okay. Even though it's very difficult because it's already October, But I'm always pray that God please help me. Yeah, God please help me. So I find the strategies even though in COVID-19. So I try to talk to my collaborators, which is Team Coach International, that I attended my coaching certification. Alhamdulillah, I got the consultancy project. So outcome for me, of course, even though they not give me that KPI, but I can exceed more. For example, so I cannot deny, I cannot reject the invitation from Sabis. Okay, because we collaborate before. Because I'm working, even though of course all of you are busy. We try to find time, so we need to moving forward. So whatever you beyond your control, you forget about it. For example, COVID-19, you cannot do anything. So you only control what you can control. Okay.
Okay,
So
I would just like to add one thing. My
okay.
question basically was that when you are playing the numbers game, that if you're given a target that I have to publish 3 papers or 5 papers or get one research grant, don't you think that basically becomes more of fulfilling the requirements rather than promoting innovativeness and promoting this creativity that you're talking about, right? But because it happens a lot when you place a number for an associate professor that you have to make 10 publications, so he will be forgetting about the quality of research and more focusing about the quantity of research.
Okay.
So even in
And
during
this is and Ahmed Aslam, this is exactly happening throughout our academia in Pakistan, that the
exactly,
output and
exactly.
numbers are more important than the quality and the impact they create on
Oh,
society and economy and
Exactly. And
other
and
things.
relating it to the COVID situation, when we talk about monitoring people when they're working from home, it does exactly the same. That if you're putting a lot of numbers or targets
mhm,
for them, that you have to meet this target and fulfill this requirement, so it creates that extra pressure. We need to loosen up this pressure and basically
Mhm.
relate to the outcome. And by outcome, I mean quality output, right? So rather than fulfilling the numbers or just starting the class on time and finishing the class on time and
Mhm.
getting the class recording
Yes.
through, we should be focusing on what the students have basically learned in this subject. What was the output, or
Yes.
was the objective
Yes.
achieved or not? That's my question.
okay.
Yes. Very true.
So
I would like to add something, Dr. Atif, if you allow me.
okay. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Bean. Yes, please.
Yes, thank you. I would like to agree with Dr. Yusliza because the 10 number is a very small number in terms of quality. I do agree with Ahmad Aslam and Dr. Muhammad Zaid that quality should be more focused instead of quantity. But don't you think that if a promotion criteria would be just one paper and that one paper will be Journal of Finance for marketing, it would be only Journal of Marketing one paper, and for project management it would be Journal of International Journal of Project Management. So I believe that it will be 10 times more difficult in getting just one paper published instead of publishing 10 normal quality papers. So what I mean to say is that if you will focus only on the quality and a small quantity, then okay. If you can publish in Journal of Finance and Journal of Marketing, then be it. So that's the point. The 10 numbers are not very much quantity. 10 numbers are a quality. 10 numbers are considered to be of good quality, and the number is very small. I mean that 10 numbers are not supposed to be of inferior quality. Just one thing. The
Okay.
point is that if you are totally focusing on the quality, okay, then it should be only Journal of Finance or Journal of Financial Economics. That should only be Journal of Marketing, not below than that. So it is a misconception, it is a misperception that the 10 number is a great quantity and of inferior quality.
Okay.
It's a perception based on one individual's own thinking. So I totally agree with Dr. Yusliza that 10 numbers should be of quantity. Now, there are many persons who only publish 10 papers in the Z category journals, and there can be any other individual who can publish 10 papers in the high impact factor journals. So
Yeah.
that's one internal, parameter and benchmark. So I totally agree with Dr. Yusliza that 10 should be of quality. And if someone, suggests that 10 number is of inferior quality, there should be only one. Okay, then it should be Journal of Finance, not less than that. Thank you.
Okay. So this one is a debate in terms of quality and quantity. If you can have opportunity to look at my Scopus record as compared to my other colleague. So I'm now focusing on my area of research and my quality. 10 papers is quality. My students also are working in other area, but I said, conference paper, Dr. Yus, do you want to become co-author? It's okay, thank you, because I'm now focusing moving forward to Web of Science. When people, let's say with 10 quantity and 1 in Academy of Management. Of course, Academy of Management is very good. But now, if you can see the scopus, you can see the track record of the researcher, I feel satisfied when I have citation. As compared to the quantity, you have 15 numbers of papers, but citation, maybe 0, maybe 1. You can see, you can ask my student, Imran, you can see my citation for the paper, especially my area, Green Human Resource Management. I'm only work in my area. So when compared to the quantity, because of the organization objective, they doesn't care whether they are a paid journal, not quality journal, as long as they want to achieve the KPI of the university to achieve, like say, 500 papers in a year. No matter what, that one they are looking for quantity. So we are, as a researcher, I'm now moving to the professorship level. So I'm taking care of my quality. So that's why you can see the citation that is 0 is I'm not interested in. It's just because to please the student to include me as the co-author. Okay. So now at this level, I'm focusing in my perspective lah. Okay. It different in perspective of Indonesia and also in Pakistan maybe. So I'm focusing like what I'm doing with, you know, the topic better of your area, like general finance, economic finance, for example, environmental economic. That one is very good high impact paper. So for senior lecturer, so they are chasing for quantity. Okay. The more you publish, no matter in any area you publish, as long as scopus, even though paid journal, you still pay for the fees. Because university not aiming for quality, they are aiming for quantity. So that's why we have funding for that, for those who want to publish in paid journal. So it again, so you try to ask yourself, you want to maintain the quality or you want to maintain the quantity. For me, for your information, in social science, in my university, I am the highest H index as compared to my dean and my other colleague in social science. Because I'm emphasizing on the field, because in the promotion form, I need to come up, at least discuss 5 impactful paper in my application. So I can cite only paper who have high citation, who has gurus in my area, which is Schuler and Jackson, commented in my research gate, interesting paper. That one is a good testimonial for me to apply for my professorship. I'm good to quality. But from the faculty perspective, they are give the numbers for you, at least give motivation, at least they aiming 3, but maybe you can exceed more than 3, because I have patience in what I do, not because of quantity. And again, quantity, it depends. Quantity, if you are chasing for senior lecturer to associate professor, maybe you are chasing for quantity. For associate professor to the professor, you are need to emphasize on the quality. And because at the end of the day, in the interview process, you will be asked, are you professor in which area? You cannot say you are in multidiscipline. No, you have to say, I'm expertise in green human resource management. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
very much, Prof.
Dr. Yusliza. Actually, the quality itself is a qualitative word, so it has different meaning for different people. But obviously,
Yeah.
when you look at these things, you need to balance the efficiency and the effectiveness part, because gaining one without the other might not be a good formula. And the from where we started our talk, like Ahmed Aslam Saab asked, that bureaucracy is important and scales should be made. Actually, the contingency theory still exists.
Yes.
By loosening up or by decreasing the formalization and bureaucracy, we never mean that it should be decreased for all sorts of organizations. For example, if you're in the operation theater, you need to have the rules and regulations implemented very, very strictly. You cannot just say that you can be less formal. But at the same time, if you are working in an advertising agency, you need to be creative. So there, I don't think a formalization or bureaucracy should be very tight. But eventually, we need to see what kind of organization we are working and how much control should be applied to that organization. So it's a very good, but the research part especially is a very good but a never-ending debate, quality versus quantity. But both have their own places and importance. Okay, can we have some more questions?
Dr. Atif, if you may allow, if I can ask a question.
Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Prof. Yuslina. First of all, thank you very much for such an interactive session. I believe the insights you have provided, they are spot on, and you've just hit the nail on the head. Prof, my query is regarding in terms of the unorthodox teachings during this COVID period, as you have emphasized a lot regarding how to teach and how to conduct research studies, and that have clarified my thought at least. So, ma'am, can you please identify some of the strategies which we, being as teachers, can apply to effectively engage in the online classes? Because I know face-to-face interactions are comparatively quite easier and flexible because you've got a lot of room to actually discuss a lot of things. But when you are having these online sessions, so at times you feel as if you're talking to a wall because the engagement level is very, very minimal from the teacher, from the students end. So if you can help us to understand that what sort of engagement strategies we can actually deploy to make our teaching more effective. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay, the strategies that I'm also improving for the last semester because of the COVID-19, my evaluation teaching is not so good as compared to the previous 2 semester and the previous semester. So from there, I improved. So I attended training during the semester break. So first, I set up WhatsApp group. Okay, that's my strategy. Secondly, you have to control your emotion, definitely. Because when working very far and then through email, through WhatsApp, you are easy to bad temper. So you try by learning coaching, I can cool down during this pandemic situation. Thirdly, during the apps, for example, in the training, in the teaching, for example, you currently you are using Google Meet. You can know how to draw, right? You can you don't just teaching like this, like we did right now. More discussion. Another strategy, this is a suggestion by my faculty. During the class, you record earlier. Okay, you record, and then during the class, you play your video. And then after that, maybe in the next 1 hour, that one is much more interactive with the student. Q&A like this lah. So I like the way the student, the faculty members ask me. They ask so many questions during the session. So another strategy will be you have e-learning management system. Okay, you give assignment and then you ask a student to give summary of the topic, and then that kind of strategy that we had at UMT. Another thing, this week is our second week in first semester. So what make me interesting for my class, I invite my colleague from Telkom University Indonesia to give lecture for 2 hours. That's kind of a variety of not only my face. So in 1st November, I invite industry partner from Petronas, okay, to give industry experience to the students. So people much more interactive, more engaged in class because they want to know what happened in the market, um, as compared to the theory part, orthodox part that you have mentioned just now. There are some of the strategies that we had, for our to tackle the student engagement in the learning, situation. And in fact, I try to scan a sample of the best project paper and then put it online, but different topic, of course lah. At least the structure is there, so student is communicating with me. There is some of the few example that I can share with you lah. So inviting the industry speaker is really really helpful to broaden the idea of the students, when they need to ready to join the market later on. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Yusliza. I think this COVID has taught the teachers a lot, and especially when it comes to the technology generation gap in terms of technology, that some of our students are more technology savvy than we are. So I think in addition to the very useful strategies that you've talked about, I think we need to lead now. And to lead, I think we need to learn the technology part and other related parts of the teaching more quicker, faster, and we should be in a leading role. When student talk to us, they should know that we know more than them. Otherwise, we will have a problem with online teaching. So very useful suggestions. With this, I think we have already taken Dr. Yusliza's too much time, and it's already 15 minutes late than the time we decided to close our session. So I would like to thank all the participants, and I will request Dr. Amir Shamsi, Dean Management Sciences, ABS, for some concluding remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Atif. It's really a wonderful session, and I'm very, very thankful to Dr. Yusliza for sparing time, and the discussion was wonderful. Presentation was good, but how beautifully you covered almost all aspects in your presentation, and you addressed, rather responded some difficult questions in a beautiful way, so that things become easy. And I believe that, as Dr. Atif said, that this COVID has taught a lot to teachers. Yes, and I'm thankful to you that with your presentation, discussion, and thoughtful discussion, I, in my personal capacity, and I'm hopeful that all my colleagues would have learned a lot. So from on behalf of Zappis Islamabad family, I am very, very thankful to you. Thanks again. Dr. Atif.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shamsi. With this, we would like to end our today's webinar, and I would like to once again thank Dr. Yusliza for her time and for her insightful thoughts on today's topic. And I would also like to thank all of our participants, our colleagues, our friends, and especially our students to join this international webinar. So thank you very much, and we will stay in touch. And I pray that all of us remain in good health, and may Allah bless us all. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much from me, and shukriya.
Jazakallah.
Thank you.
Jazakallah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.